Hey everybody, it's Jack and Dan.
George Costanza's here today, right, George? Say hi. Hey, we haven't done an update on the turtles in a long time. We're going to do a little bit of an update today, right? As you can see, we took this 75-gallon that James and Mallory, two of our subscribers, gave to us. We haven't shown this tank in a long time. Basically, what we decided while we're brainstorming and thinking of all these ideas that we're going to be doing for this indoor pond area in our in-law suite, we wanted to utilize this area to give them a temporary home. We kind of just had them in a little aquarium in my office, and I was kind of letting them run around all day. And what happened is we now have more of them because a couple people reached out to us that had turtles that they really couldn't take care of. So now we don't just have one turtle, we have 3 turtles, right?
Yeah.
And George likes them all. And they run around my office all day. I have them on the floor, and he hangs out with them, don't you, George? He just kind of, he snuggles up to him. He doesn't mind them. He doesn't try to eat them like Lacey does. Lacey can't be around them. When she's here, I have to put them in the tank, or she's not allowed in my office at all. She'll totally freak and try to eat them like she tries to eat everything, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But anyway, you like him, don't you? He watches them. He's funny. But anyway, basically how this all evolved is we had this tank, we had this pump and everything that they gave us. I had these 3 big ceramic bricks you can see. There's one behind Jack's head too there. So there's 1, 2, 3. And these are old. They came from Jack's great-grandparents' house. Mm-hmm. Their house was actually built with those. They had extra. They used them in their garden. And I took them a long time ago when I was a little kid, using them in my fish tanks. And we'll show you some close-ups and stuff after our story here. But basically, we took 2 old turtle bridges. We had little holes in them. I did this design a long time ago. Just kind of made 2 bridges on some bricks. And that's it. Yeah, one of these turtles is a boy, so he's being a little bit of a troublesome here, kind of, you know how boys are, right?
Yeah.
Chasing the girls around. But anyway, they're getting along pretty good, and of course we take them out, we let them run around too and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, until we get this whole idea done that we're going to do in the in-law suite here, which I think is going to be really fun, we're just kind of we want to make sure we do it right, and we want to do it economically. And luckily, the person who had this house before us made kind of an in-law suite for his parents because they were elderly and he was taking care of them. And ultimately, we weren't sure if we were going to use that for Jack's great-grandmother, who we call Grandmary, but she passed away about a year ago. And then we decided, you know, we talked to Grandma about it because she's getting older and we kind of want to have that space available for her in case she needs it. But she's doing great. And she's like, I'm not moving in with you anytime soon. I'm doing good, right? So I says, let's, you know, turn this into more of a fish room. We want to do aquaponics with it. We're going to be doing all kind of fun things, maybe growing some vegetables year round. And we're trying to find we did find some pretty big, huge aquaponics trays that are about, I think, 7.5 feet by 5 feet.
What we're really saying is we're going to make a pond, like an indoor pond.
We're going to make a pond. It's going to have turtles. It's going to have fish. It's going to be cold water fish, mostly goldfish. And these guys obviously are going to have a heated area. They don't have a heated area now. We just heated the whole tank. Since this is down a few inches and it's only about really 60, 65 gallons, we just do 3 heaters in there and it's like 90 degrees and they love it. Which is what we've done in the past with a lot of our turtles. But, oops, George is slipping. He's like, help me, I'm slipping.
He's in any posture, he just like slumps over.
Yeah, he just wants to be held all the time. He's like a little baby. He's so funny. Mommy's not home yet. He's like, where's Mommy? I don't want to be in your movie. She's going to be home soon, buddy. So we got 2 UV lamps up there. Again, just old stuff we've had. Those are those like fluorescent kind of curly bulbs. So 2 of them at a time can go up there. And actually, sometimes they do go 2 on one of those because the other 2 guys are smaller than Iastigi. And the one guy's name that somebody asked us to take was, his name's Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Larry. He's about 11 years, going on 11 years old. He's pretty small. He is not a red-eared slider turtle like Iastigi. He's about half her size, even though she's not even half his age. Obviously, the females get bigger, but he didn't have like a UV light and stuff like that. He's alive and he's healthy, but it definitely stunted his growth. Hopefully, he will get a little healthier here because they can live to be, 40, 50 years old sometimes, some of these turtles, if they're in a good situation. So he's in a better situation now. He's going to love being in the pond. For now, he seems to like this. He also kind of loves walking around my office and stuff like that, like the other turtles do. Now, the other turtle we got from someone is a female red-eared slider, just like Iastigi, a little bit smaller than her, probably wasn't in the best environment, but she is healthy. She's not quite as big and healthy as Stygie. I can't believe she's not even 4 and she's that huge already. We'll show you guys some close-ups here in a minute. But anyway, we didn't name her. She did not have a name. Her previous owners did not have a name for her. We're just thinking maybe put something in the comments of what we should name her.
Yeah, it would be something interesting, like something Asian or something like in a different language.
Yeah, because Larry's pretty American. Larry reminds me of those guys you and Pamela like to watch, the Practical Jokers. He's like, Larry. Yeah. I'll have to put a little tidbit here at the end of that. It's one of my favorite little things when they do that. But anyway, Larry, Stygie, of course, Native American. We named her, gave her a Cherokee name for Warrior because she didn't get along with any of her little baby friends. If you look at our videos from 3 years ago, you'll see she was a tiny little baby in those videos when we started our channel, and she just didn't get along. She would push all the other turtles off the rock, and even though it was big enough for 10 of them, she was a dominator, and so we gave her that name. We ended up giving all those other turtles away and stuff like that. She had no problem with fish, totally got along well with the fish when she was in the 220. Grew up with the parrots and the rope fish and the plecos and got along with them great. They used to even groom her. We have lots of videos of that, which is really cool. Just check out our aquarium playlist. But anyway, she's doing quite well in here, and we just need a name for this other gal. So put some comments. We'll show some close-ups here in a minute. And, think of something a little diverse or something different since we've used a Native American name and a pretty much American name there. What do you think she should be named, George? He's like, I don't care. He's so funny. But anyway, so that's the thing. So we got this is an FX4 that James and Mallory gave us. We got that running. We've been running it on here. We top it off. We clean it once in a while. We've never used a canister filter before, ever. Don't love them, but for a temporary solution, it's kind of a good idea. So we may end up using it.
It's not big and clunky, but they take a lot of water, so you only have to change it like a couple months.
It's kind of annoying to clean. I don't know. I don't love it. Never used it because of those reasons. But you know what? They gave it to us because they were getting rid of their whole setup, and it is working very good for now. So these guys are in a pretty good home. Basically, again, we're just going to be working on our pond throughout the winter and starting this big project. We're going to turn this around and show you guys some close-ups and kind of how we just kind of put this together. And again, put some names in the comments that you think would be cool for her. We'll show you some close-ups. George, I got to put you down. Say bye, because you're going to go down on the ground. He's so funny. He's like a big teddy bear. Say bye. So before we tell this amazing story about what happened with Stygie and everything this summer, I wanted to show you guys some of the tank. Basically, these are just big ceramic bricks. They're super huge. I've used them for years. This is Larry, little painted turtle. Super cute little dude. Again, his shell is not perfect, but doesn't really seem to have any problems. There are some kind of wrinklings and stunted growth, but he's doing okay. So hopefully he'll do fine here. I used to use these bricks all the time for things. You can see we just kind of bag tied those little turtle things up there, and they can sit on the top. We've got the 3 heaters in the back. The filter goes right here. We just have it sitting on a bucket just so it can reach and everything. Totally awesome how everything works. That's Stygie. She's just sitting right here. She likes the sunlight because it comes in warm. You can see, of course, it's not very warm outside. It's snowing, but the sun does come in here, and so she likes to kind of go there, wedge herself in there. And of course, when they're running around the office, they kind of sit here in the sun and stuff like that too. Now, this is the other young lady. Again, a little smaller than Stygie, not quite as big. Red-eared slider, very nice health, very good shape. Came from someone who just couldn't take care of her anymore because they knew we were doing this pond and everything. So we've kind of got these 2 little adopted turtles here. Larry, and if you could think of a good name for her, Jack's thinking he wants some sort of, Asian name or something. Whatever you think. You don't have to do that. Offer up any idea that you want. But she's really cool. Everybody seems to get along pretty good. Again, Larry's a little bit of a boy, so he's being a boy and doing boy things. But they don't really put up with them. He did try to grab Stygie's foot a couple times since she's about 2 to 3 times the size. She just kicked him across the tank, and he kind of got the message, didn't he? Yeah, she's doing so good. We're going to tell you some very interesting stories about her here, and a pretty unbelievable story that happened this summer, at the end of summer, actually in the fall. All right, so that's kind of the temporary turtle setup for now. It's right next to my desk. These guys look at me all day long. I talk to them. I have them run around the office. Again, I still have a heater underneath my desk and another UV light under there. So they go under there and they climb on top of my feet and sit on my feet while I'm talking and stuff. And again, we've posted a lot of shorts and videos about that. It's really kind of cute and cool. And this is just a big area, big office in front of the house off the garage that we have. And they're doing really good. So here's the story. We wanted to tell this story. This is a pretty magnificent story about Aya Stidgy. So we got her as a tiny little baby. She was just born, grew, took care of her, completely domesticated, never was interested in fish. And again, when we do put this pond together, we're going to be putting some fish in there. We don't know how the other turtles are going to react because they've never really even had fish in their lives. The previous owners never fed them fish. They just fed them turtle food. Their instincts may take over. They may try to chase them. So
Depends.
we're probably just going to get like some feeder goldfish in the beginning to kind of get them used to fish. Again, it's going to be a huge pond. So we'll see. The other thing is if we put some real big ones in there, they're not really going to be able to do anything to them.
They might not do anything.
So, I mean, they may take a few bites, but, so we'll see what happens with all this. With these two that we kind of, adopted. As far as Aya Stidgy, we know she's not going to be a problem. She's been around fish her whole life.
We tried to feed her crawfish that one time. She didn't seem any interest.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted her to destroy the crawfish.
Yeah, we were going to do a video once with the crayfish, and we put it in there, and we never even uploaded it because she was more afraid of it than it was of her. It was kind of funny. But anyway, here's the story. So down here in my office is a screen door, and the screen was ripped. And for quite a long time, along the bottom there, and for quite a long time, I was like, yeah, I got to replace that screen. I got to replace that screen. Well, she was the only one we had at the time, and she was crawling around the house and around my office, and she went through that, and I was over here talking on the phone, doing the work thing, and she went out into the yard. And I turned around, I don't know, a little later, and I realized she wasn't around, and I started freaking out, and I noticed that the screen was kind of bent up, and I'm like,
you didn't tell me this until a while ago.
Yeah, well, you were at school. You were actually at your mom's. So Jack's mother and I do share parenting, so he's there half the week, he's here half the week. Yes. And this was right after the day that he'd gone back to her mother. So, it was about 3 or 4 days before he came back. So I had 3 or 4 days to try to find her, and I frantically searched the yard immediately. It was kind of funny. I had my headset on. I was like in a meeting talking, but I'm walking through the yard looking for her. This happened at the end of fall, quite a few months ago. I checked everything. I checked through all the ground cover. I checked the compost. I looked everywhere around, and I was very scared because I was like, she's totally domesticated. I don't know if she's going to be able to survive out there. I was very concerned. We have a creek very close to the house. I figured maybe she made it to the creek. Maybe she's going to be able to survive. Hopefully be able to kind of do the hibernation thing in the winter that turtles do in that. I don't think it's called hibernation for turtles. It's called something else. And I'm sure someone who knows that will correct me in the comments because people love to do that. But I'm not concerned about what it's called. Everybody knows that turtles and frogs kind of go in the mud in the winter and do the whole hibernation thing.
It's called hibernation.
Yeah, it's got some other weird name.
I don't know.
But anyway, I was hoping she'd be okay and that it would all be figured out. However, for something inside of me just kind of knew that we'd find her. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I feel like we have such a connection with her. We've taken good care of her since she was a baby. She sits on my foot every day. She's so nice. Everyone loves her. She just walks around. She's part of the family, part of the house, and she's just very unique. And anyway, I just kept looking every day. I'd go out to yard work. I'd look more. I kind of had a weird, comforting feeling that she would show up eventually. I can't explain it. Anyway, when Jack did come back from his mother's later that week, I just kind of kept beating around the bush. You were like, hey, where's Aya Stidgy? Because we had just made this tank. And you were like, hey, where is she? And I was like, she's under my desk. She's fine. I'll put her in there later or whatever. I kind of kept avoiding it for those few days. And then, I don't know how, but he never really kind of figured it out. And then the following week went by again.
I didn't think much of it. I just thought, I don't know, didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing other things. It was the end of fall. We just had a lot of things planned, and I just kept changing the subject and, diverting his attention and stuff. Anyway, I knew that these other people were bringing these other turtles because they had already reached out to me, and I was kind of trying to set up a time for them. And then I thought, well, maybe to be honest with you, maybe I can pass this other one off as I Stidgy. But then when the person sent me a picture, I'm like, she's like half her size, so I'm not going to be able to pull that off. Not that I would really like lie to him about it, but I figured maybe something would buy time until she showed up or until I could explain it or whatever, because I knew he'd be very upset. He raised her from a baby. So I didn't really know what to tell him. I didn't know what to do. A week passed by. Then it was like 9 days, 10 days, 11 days, 12 days, and we were almost getting to 2 weeks. And then I was kind of at the point where I was about just accepting the fact that she, made it to the creek or whatever, and that was it. And I'm just going to have to explain this to him, and he's probably going to be very upset with me because he had told me, hey, you need to fix this screen a couple times. And so, it is what it is. But one day I was in the bathroom shaving. I was sitting there shaving. I'll never forget. It was like some morning, Sunday morning or something. I think you had gone back to your mom's early that weekend because something was going on. One of your cousins, a party or something. Anyway, I'm in there shaving, and both of the wieners were at the front door freaking out. The door was open, the screen door was there, and they start freaking out. And usually they do that when somebody brings some mail or something, or a package, right? Yeah. And they would not stop. They were absolutely relentless. And I'm like, and so I said something to Pamela. I said, hey, see what's going on out there? Like I was in the middle of shaving. And so she looks and she goes, oh my God, there's a turtle at the front door. She goes, I think it's Ice Stidgy. And I'm like, what? And I, drop what I'm doing and I run to the front door.
It's a turtle and it's at the front door. And how would it know?
Literally like 13 days later. Mind you, I scour the yard every day. Checked there was like Pachysandra, I checked everything. I don't know where she went. She didn't really have any marks on her or anything. She looked fine. And she was just sitting on the mat of the door, looking up at the wieners like, I'm home. And I looked at her and I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
It's funny because it's a turtle. Like you said, probably how would it know?
I have no idea where she was, where she went to. I would love to know. I would love to be able to read her mind.
She probably just went to the creek and back. She probably thought it was too cold or too hot.
Talk about a Disney movie. The 12 Days Adventures of Ice Stidgy. Who knows where she went? She could have just been hiding the whole time. She looked. The thing was about her. She looked really plump.
Travel to China. She probably ate some beetles and stuff.
She must have found some. Look at her. She knows we're talking about her. She's right here. She's like, look at her head.
It's kind of scary almost. I wonder what she might know a lot of stuff.
Look at her. She somehow, I don't know. She survived. She figured it out. And wherever she went, she came right to the front door. And I had just opened the door and she was not there. It's almost as if she heard us talking or heard the wieners barking. I don't know. But she came to the front door like, go get Dad because I'm back. And they did. So I went out and got her. I checked her out. She looked right at me, like, cool. And I still had the tank running because I knew the other two were going to be here soon.
I wonder what she did. She probably, I don't know. She probably went somewhere.
It's hilarious. So I threw her back in the tank, and I was so happy. Like, I had this unbelievable weight lifted off my shoulders. Like, I was just so happy that she was alive and that she came back home. I've never heard of a turtle doing anything like this. I immediately was like, I can't wait. I had been kind of hiding this off from Jack. I was like, I can't wait to tell him this story. I told him the story. He totally couldn't believe it. He almost...
It's a little bit confusing because how...
Look at the two of them. They're both looking.
I'm not saying turtles are stupid, but they're definitely not that smart. How would it be able to know?
Apparently they are.
The front door. It's a little bit terrifying.
Apparently she is. Look at this is the other one. Again, we need a name for this little girl here. But we're super, super happy that we have these three turtles together now. We're so happy Ice Stidgy came back home. Again, it was unbelievable. My heart was beating so fast. Like, I know people think it's kind of silly, like it's a turtle or whatever, but I tell you, this turtle's been a part of our family for like 4 years now. We loved her. She was fantastic and amazing, and I felt very sad and responsible for, her getting out like that. And I guess it just goes to show you that a lot of people say, hey, you keep pets and pets don't really want to be kept. Well, there's a perfect example right there. She had every opportunity in the world to go to the creek, to go wherever she wants, anywhere around here. We live in a pretty rural area, She could have went to the woods, went to the creek, and 12 days later, wherever she went, she came back home right to the front door. That is unbelievable to me. So that tells me this is where she wants to be.
First of all, you'd say, well, a dog, okay, might be able to do that, but a turtle, I mean,
Yeah.
she's about 2 inches to the ground. How could she barely see anything?
Well, all I know is it tells me that this is where she wants to be, and she's happy here, and so we're going to give her the best home we possibly can. This is a great little temporary solution for them. We are going to start working on this pond. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process. Some of these things that we're getting, they're going to take a couple months to get here or put together, but we're going to do it in stages, and like we film all of our projects, we're going to film it in stages and steps, and probably a series of videos. We're going to try to DIY this as much as we want, but one of the things we're not DIYing is we're getting an actual aquaponics system. So it's a huge tray that is not very deep, 1.5 to 2 feet. We're going to be putting a lot of structures in it. We're going to be probably making a massive vacuum tank that's going to come out of it. Most likely a very large tank. It's something we want to do for a long time. Again, probably putting some food. We're going to be growing some food out of it. Maybe some of our other tanks more too. This is something, we had this huge space in the back that we really don't need or use, but it came with the house. And, the other thing is that we're doing this, if we decide to sell a house, this is something we'll be able to take apart and put back together in a new house. Or if grandma does end up coming here and living here, we'll be able to disassemble it, either sell it, give it to someone else, or build it in another part of the house or whatever. So that's why we're kind of doing this the way we're doing it. A lot of people, they like the liner type of situation. We wanted something that was going to be permanent. The other thing is this tray, this aquaponics tray, is like food grade quality. So it's BPA free, all that kind of stuff. So if we grow food in it, obviously the waste from the fish and turtles is going to provide for, the fertilization that the plants need, and then the plants are going to clean the pond. So this is going to be a really huge, exciting project. You looking forward to it, man?
Yes.
I think it's going to be super, super neat. I think it's going to be really cool.
I'm looking at George right now. He's like...
Yeah, the wieners are going to be able to come up to the edge. We're going to build the edge up a little bit. I don't think they're really going to be able to, put their heads in or anything like that. So they're not going to be able to really disrupt it.
It's like this tall.
Well...
It's like this tall.
Well, yeah, we're going to see. I mean, the water's really only going to be 1.5 to 2 feet deep, maybe even less, but the vacuum and the sides, it's going to be pretty high. So anyway, if you've never seen how people make vacuum tanks, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about it. One of the first videos we ever posted, we have an aqua cave and a vacuum penthouse on top of it that goes all the way to the ceiling. So just go to our videos and hit oldest, and the first one that pops up that we ever made kind of shows that design. Just one of many designs that we've done over the years. I've been doing this since I was about 5 years old. I'm going to be 50 here soon. So 45 years I've been working with aquariums, designing aquariums, got Jack into it when he was a baby. And this is a very exciting venture. You can see them all here now. This is Ice Diggy's behind Jack. This is Larry and this other lady, young lady that we have. So he's quite old. He's 10, 11 years old. They're both only about 4 years old. So let us know a good name for her, and we'll look at those suggestions and probably name her off of something. We just want a real, Pamela says she wants a really fancy name because she's a girl. We have Lacey and George and, Brutus, our one fish. And then she loves Ice Diggy. She thinks that's very nice, but she's like, Larry, that's such a, just a plain name. So think of something frilly and awesome. Well, George is freaking out, so Pamela's probably home, and it's about time to end this video anyway, and he's going to get all loud and noisy.
You hear him crying like he's dying.
Yeah,
so
he freaks out when she comes home.
He's
There
fine.
he goes.
We're not hurting him. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's so annoying.
Sounds like a baby seal being beaten to death when she comes home.
He sounds like he's being...
Oh, there's Pamela.
I'm sorry.
Sounds like
That's
he's being
okay.
attacked.
Come and say hi real quick. We're doing our turtle video. It's the end of the video.
Oh.
And tell them you want a fancy girly name for this little girl turtle. You want some comments being made there.
Got a little something for both of you for Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, we're
Happy
shooting
Valentine's Day.
this day before Valentine's Day. Might be a long time for you guys to see it, but
A nice girly name, please.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, take care. We'll see you next time, and be sure to leave us some suggestions. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can see some of the things we're planning here with this pond, and of course all the updates we do on all our other tanks. Inevitably, when we get these guys into this pond, we're going to be changing this. Tank is going to stay here. It's going to stay on my desk. I always wanted a tank here. Probably going to do another gravel filter, probably some really cool lighting fixtures, and maybe end up doing angelfish or something like that. Because at this point, that Tetra tank is really more of a Tetra tank. We may just add more Tetra to it and just put the angels in here and just do something different. We're not exactly sure yet. But we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot. Take care.